protein structure. Okay, you know proteins are made up of amino acids. You must know few basic concepts, basic chemistry part. Yes, proteins are made up of amino acid. Suppose you are given a protein having 4 amino acids. Okay, I take simple example. Suppose a protein is there having 4 amino acid. Okay, and you are suppose as okay, I draw a structure that will be easier to understand. Okay, suppose this is a protein having 4 amino acid. First is glycine, alanine, proline, lysine. Okay, suppose you are given a protein having 4 amino acid and you are asked that what is the primary structure of this protein. You will say that this protein is having 4 amino acid and the sequence of amino acid is glycine, alanine, proline and lysine. Okay, this is primary structure. Okay, you know amino acid? Amino acid, H, R. This is common structure to all amino acid. If it is joined with another amino acid, N, H, H, I can write like this, amino acid, okay, H, R. These are two amino acid, amino group, acidic group, amino group, acidic group. We know that when acid bind with amine, H2O is released to form CONH, and CONH is called amide bond. Yes, we know this chemistry part. It's a very simple thing. You must have an idea about that. We know that two amino acids join to form amide bond. Yes, amide bond is covalent bond. Definitely it is covalent bond. So you can say two amino acids in a protein are joined by covalent bond or amide bond. Or you know we say that in protein amino acids are joined by peptide bond. So amide bonds are peptide bonds, or you can say these bonds are peptide bond. A frequently asked question, peptide bond are chemically amide bond. Peptide bond are chemically amide bond. Now you want to cleave these amide bond. If you want to cleave this amide bond, you must add water. If you want to cleave these amide bond, you must add water. And the question is asked, if you cleave a bond with addition of water, then that is called hydrolysis. If you cleave a bond with addition of water, is called hydrolysis, and the enzyme is hydrolase. Yes, I told you initially. Okay, wait. You know, in fact, if a bond is cut with addition of water, that is called hydrolysis. Just like digestive enzyme, lipase, yes, lipase hydrolyze lipid, digestive enzyme protease cut proteins with addition of water, lactase hydrolyze lactose into glucose and galactose. So all digestive enzymes are hydrolase. Okay, this is a very important concept. All digestive enzymes, write down, all digestive enzymes are hydrolase. All digestive enzymes are hydrolase. Yes, जितने भी digestive enzyme हैं, they digest different compounds by joining water. Okay, निमोनी बना देते हैं, खाना खाने के बाद पानी पीते हैं हम, to hydrolyze different compounds, to digest these compounds. So all digestive enzymes are hydrolase. याद रहेगा. Now, if you want to, yes, so digestive enzyme, trypsin, chymotrypsin, pepsin, all are digestive enzymes, proteolytic enzymes. So these are hydrolase. Lipase, hydrolase. Okay. Lactase, hydrolase. Okay. Now I ask you, yes, protease is all proteolytic. Yes, we know that if you want to cleave peptide bond, amide bond, you must add water. So all proteolytic enzymes are hydrolase. Is there any difference between the statement that all proteolytic enzymes are hydrolase and all digestive enzymes are hydrolase? Is there any difference or the same? Definitely they are different. Yes, trypsin, chymotrypsin, pepsin, these are digestive enzyme. Renin is proteolytic enzyme but not digestive. Renin is hydrolase. So all proteolytic enzymes are hydrolase. Whenever you want to cut a peptide bond, amide bond, you must add water. Okay. So this was chemistry part. Now we leave it. The point is that whenever two amino acids join, they are joined by amide bond, and amide bonds are covalent bond. Yes. Again we come to our main topic, that is structure of protein. Suppose I gave you this protein having 4 amino acid. I gave this protein having 4 amino acid and ask you what is the primary structure of this protein. You will say that this protein is having 4 amino acid, glycine, and the sequence of amino acid is glycine, alanine, proline, lysine. Means primary structure means sequence of amino acid in a protein. Primary structure means sequence of amino acid in a protein. Now, this is a simple protein having 4 amino acid, but you know that there are so many proteins which are having thousands of amino acid. Suppose a protein is having 100 amino acid. We'll take simple example. Suppose a protein is having 100 amino acid. These 100 amino acid will not remain in a linear chain. Definitely they will fold themselves to acquire a secondary structure. Okay, you know that proteins are globular in shape, fibular in shape, means protein acquire a particular shape. Means sequence of amino acid will not remain in a linear sequence. They will fold themselves to acquire secondary structure, tertiary structure, quaternary structure. So suppose you are given a protein having 100 amino acid. Yes, this protein may fold itself, the sequence of amino acid may fold itself in a helical form, and if this acquire a helical structure, that is called alpha helix. It may fold itself in a plane just like this. Yes, suppose this is like this, in a sheet like structure, that is called beta plated sheet. Means if primary structure sequence of amino acid fold themselves, they acquire secondary structure. So first of all, we know about primary structure. Yes, primary structure means sequence of amino acid in a protein, and this is stabilized by which bond? Peptide bond or covalent bond. Now primary structure sequence of amino acid may fold themselves to acquire a helical structure. This is alpha helix. Yes, alpha helix, sequence of amino acid fold themselves to acquire a helical structure, alpha helix. Question: alpha helix are usually right-handed. Alpha helix are usually right-handed. Yes, most physiological helical structures are usually right-handed. Just like question is asked that physiological form of DNA is bDNA, that is right-handed. Alpha helix is usually right-handed. Clear? And we found that alpha helix is stabilized by hydrogen bond. This alpha helix secondary structure is stabilized by which bond? Hydrogen bond. We found that sequence of amino acid may fold themselves in a sheet-like structure, and this is beta plated sheet. Beta plated sheet. And beta plated sheet again is stabilized by hydrogen bond. Beta sheet is again stabilized by hydrogen bond. Now, basic concept. You know that previously there was, definitely we are going to genetics. Previously there was a concept, one gene one protein theory. We used to say that one gene give rise to one protein. Initially we extracted all proteins and counted, and we found that there are 1 lakh type of protein, and at that time the concept was one gene one protein theory. So we said that there must be 1 lakh gene. But now we found that one gene may give rise to more than one protein. So now we say that there are 20 to 25,000 of genes. Okay. So now we say that 20 to 25,000 of genes. The function of, yes, gene, we simplify the concept. Okay, we know that each and every cell is having 23 pair of chromosome. Yes, liver cell is having 23 pair of chromosome, pancreatic cell is having 23 pair of chromosome, but liver cell do different function, pancreatic cell do different, and their structures are different. In fact, we found in a particular cell at a particular time only few genes are expressed, other genes are kept in dormant state, inhibited state, silent state. Okay, at a particular time in a particular cell only few genes are expressed, other genes are kept in inhibited state. Okay, so whenever, yes, we are having so many genes because we know nature provide us, okay, or you can say nature provide us protective mechanism for each and every known adverse condition. But if gene want to do function, first of all genes are transcribed. Transcription means DNA to RNA transcription. Genes are transcribed to synthesize messenger RNA. Then these messenger RNA are translated to synthesize protein, and then these protein do function. The point is that if you want to do function, yes, that is done by proteins. Okay, we have so many, yes, genes, yes, 20 to 25,000 genes, and if they want to do function, they synthesize protein by gene expression. You know, DNA से RNA, yes, transcription, RNA to protein, translation, transcription from translation, gene expression. Okay, so each and every protein has its own function. Suppose a protein was having 20 amino acid or 100 amino acid. We take the first example. Suppose a protein is having 100 amino acid and it acquire a secondary structure, beta plated sheath or beta sheet. Now this protein want to do function. Suppose the function of this protein is to carry this cap, and this protein want to do function, it can't. But if this secondary structure beta plated sheath fold further randomly, yes, protein fold like this randomly. Now after folding it form, yes, it fold randomly like this. It form tertiary structure. Now this protein want to carry this cap, it can easily carry. Means if protein is having secondary structure, beta plated sheath, alpha helix, they can't do function. But if secondary structure fold further to acquire tertiary structure, they can do function. So question is asked, protein acquire function, okay, at tertiary structure. Yes, protein acquire function at tertiary structure. So you may see that, look at this. Primary structure, the main bond is covalent bond. Focus on this. Primary structure, main bond is covalent bond. Secondary structure, main bond is hydrogen bond. Primary structure, secondary structure, functional activities are absent, while tertiary structure, functional activity is present. Clear? Or protein acquire function at tertiary level. Protein acquire function at tertiary level. Okay. And we know the bonds. Now tertiary structure is stabilized by main bond of tertiary structure is disulfide. Other bonds are hydrophobic, hydrogen and ionic. Yes. Now we come to quaternary structure. You know hemoglobin? Yes. You know hemoglobin? Hemoglobin is having 4 globin chain. These are 2 alpha globin chain, 2 beta globin chain. Suppose this is hemoglobin. We know that hemoglobin, 1 molecule of hemoglobin can carry 4 molecule of oxygen, and 1 molecule of hemoglobin is made up of 2 alpha globin chain and 2 beta globin chain. It means 4 globin chain can carry 4 molecule of oxygen, means 1 alpha globin chain carry 1 molecule of oxygen, second alpha chain carry 1 molecule of oxygen, beta 1 molecule of oxygen, beta 1 molecule of oxygen. And you know that if a protein can do function, it is having tertiary structure. Means if you take hemoglobin and alpha globin chain is separated, this alpha globin chain can bind to 1 molecule of oxygen or not? Yes, it can bind. If it can bind, it can do function. If it can do function, it is having tertiary structure. So in hemoglobin, alpha globin chain is having tertiary structure. This second alpha globin chain is having tertiary structure. Beta globin chain having tertiary structure. This beta globin chain is having tertiary structure. Means more than one functional polypeptide chain come together to make quaternary structure. So quaternary structure means more than one functional polypeptide chain. Question. Quaternary structure means more than one functional polypeptide chain. More than one functional polypeptide chain. This is quaternary structure, and this quaternary structure is stabilized by, yes, we found that quaternary structure is stabilized by hydrophobic bond, hydrophobic bond, hydrogen bond, ionic bond. Yes, hydrophobic bond, hydrogen bond and ionic. Diagrammatic mnemonic. Yes, quaternary structure is stabilized by hydrophobic, hydrogen and ionic. Okay. No confusion. Now, as you know, I told you at the time of enzyme substrate interaction, yes, I told you enzyme substrate interaction is mediated by? Yes, enzyme substrate interaction is mediated by hydrophobic, hydrogen and ionic. There is no relation, but we can make mnemonic that these three bonds, hydrophobic, hydrogen and ionic bonds, are involved in quaternary structure. These three bonds are involved in enzyme substrate interaction. I told you enzyme substrate interaction is made by hydrophobic, hydrogen ionic, sometimes by covalent bond. So we made mnemonic, these three bonds are involved in quaternary structure, correct? These three bonds are involved in some enzyme substrate interaction, correct? These three bonds are also involved in tertiary structure, and other than these three in tertiary structure, one more bond, one more bond is found, that is disulfide bond. So tertiary structure is stabilized by, yes, tertiary structure is stabilized by disulfide bond, hydrophobic, hydrogen and ionic, but main bond was disulfide. Clear? No confusion? Now, if you denature the protein, okay, if you heat the protein, protein is denatured. Yes, if you heat the protein, we found that hydrogen bond, hydrophobic bond, ionic bond, these are big bonds, these are cleaved by heat. But covalent bond, I told you that covalent bond, amide bond, proteins, amino acids are stabilized by which bond? Amide bond, okay, and these amide bond can be cleaved by addition of water. So these can't be cleaved by heat. Simply we make mnemonic that we know that amino acids are joined by amide bond, and these amide bond can be cleaved by addition of water, can't be cleaved by heat. So primary structure of protein is stabilized by amide bond, covalent bond cannot be cleaved by heat. So if you denature the protein by heat or any denaturing agent, then primary structure is retained while secondary, tertiary, quaternary structure are lost. Clear? So secondary, tertiary, quaternary structure are lost by denaturation while primary structure is retained. Question. So denaturation of protein, secondary, tertiary, quaternary structure are lost while primary structure is retained. Okay. Now detection. Yes, detection of structure. Primary structure is detected by mass spectrometry and advanced degradation technique. Mass spectrometry and advanced degradation technique, while secondary, tertiary, quaternary structure are detected by X-ray crystallography and NMR spectrometry. Both are question. So question is asked, primary structure is best detected by mass spectrometry. Primary structure is best detected by mass spectrometry. Secondary, tertiary, quaternary structure best detected by X-ray crystallography. If question is asked that primary structure is best detected by, definitely answer will be mass spectrometry. If question asked tertiary structure is best detected by X-ray crystallography. A question was asked that structure of protein is best detected by. They did not mention about primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary. They simply asked structure of protein is best detected by. So answer will be X-ray crystallography. Definitely. If they don't give you primary, secondary, tertiary and ask about the structure of protein, it means they are asking about tertiary structure of protein, because protein acquire function at tertiary level and we are concerned with function. So structure of protein means functional structure of protein, tertiary structure of protein, and that is best detected by X-ray crystallography. X-ray crystallography. Okay. So now questions are asked on Edmonds degradation technique and mass spectrometry. I give you with example. Okay, I describe mass spec, few questions on a mass spectrometry with example. Yes, suppose you are given a protein having 4 amino acid, alanine, proline, lysine, leucine. You are given this protein having 4 amino acid, alanine, proline, lysine and leucine, and you are asked that what is the primary structure. Definitely you will tell alanine, proline, lysine and leucine, this is the sequence of amino acid, and you suppose you don't know about the primary structure of this protein, okay, and you are asked that what is the primary structure of this protein. You have two techniques, one is mass spectrometry and another is Edmonds degradation technique. Suppose you determine the sequence of these amino acid by Edmonds technique. It will tell you alanine, proline, lysine, leucine, exactly same, no confusion. If you determine the amino acid sequence by mass spectrometry, it will tell you that alanine, proline, lysine, leucine, correct. So both are good technique, but if this protein is modified by post-translational modification, post-translational modification means this protein alanine, proline is converted to hydroxyproline, lysine, leucine. Means proline is converted to hydroxyproline by post-translational modification. Okay. Now, you are given this protein to determine the sequence of amino acid. You have again two techniques, Edmonds and mass spectrometry. Edmonds will tell you the first amino acid is alanine. Suppose we determine this sequence by Edmonds technique. It will tell you the first amino acid is alanine, second is hydroxyproline, second is proline. Edmonds technique will not determine this hydroxyproline, will tell you that this is proline, not hydroxy. Okay, it can't, means Edmonds technique can't differentiate between proline and hydroxyproline. It will tell you that is a proline, lysine and leucine. So this is not a good technique if post translation modification is there. So, but if we determine the sequence by mass spectrometry will tell you the first is alanine, second is hydroxyproline, third is lysine, fourth is leucine. So better is mass spectrometry. Yes, because mass spectrometry can detect post translational modification. Question: mass spectrometry can determine post translational modification. Mass spectrometry can determine post translational modification. Okay, now suppose you want to detect the molecular weight of this protein. Now you want to detect the molecular weight of this protein by Edmonds degradation technique. The molecular weight will be falsely low. If you determine the molecular weight of this protein by mass spectrometry, yes, you will join the molecular weight of alanine. We know the molecular weight of alanine. We know the molecular weight of hydroxyproline. Yes, we know the molecular weight of lysine. We know the molecular weight of leucine. We will join the molecular weight of all these amino acid and will find the molecular weight of protein. So mass spectrometry can determine the molecular weight of protein or not? Yes. Question. Mass spectrometry can determine molecular weight of protein. Yes, mass spectrometry can determine post-translation modification, molecular weight of protein, and definitely sequence of amino acid or primary structure. These are a few questions on the structure of protein, mass spectrometry, yes, denaturation of protein. Yes, important point left. Yes, common denaturing agents are urea, guanidine, heat. Urea, guanidine, and heat. These are common denaturing agent. Point it out, this is guanidine, not guanosine. This is denaturing agent is guanidine, not guanosine. Guanosine is purine nucleoside.